Folks, welcome to episode 44 of Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans for the fans. I have Casey Briggs with me. We're about to talk Monday Night Raw. We don't have time for the usual spiel. Hit the like button and comment and talk down below. Join the Facebook group. There's links in the description. Worry about that after, though. Casey, Monday Night Raw. I wasn't even planning on coming on to do a review of it, but I felt we had to after the ending of what just occurred. Crazy ending, the exact ending that this show needed after boring us to death, I think, in the beginning half. Second half of it, at least I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. I was planning on making a food run right now, but figured I'd jump on and talk with you. That was absolutely nuts. Just what it needed. Raw's been getting its butt kicked by SmackDown the last few weeks, so they knew they needed something big. And I feel like they knew, like I commented in the group, I thought that going into it, I thought this main event was going to be your typical boring, mundane, like straightforward, no surprises main event to a Raw. Even though it was a title match, I didn't expect a lot out of it, you know. But man, did they deliver!
Yeah, I will call out some people when we get to the main event spot. Actually, no, I'm going to call them out now. There's a difference, too, between saying, I think this guy is going to win versus I know this guy is going to win. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, I told you so, I told you so. Hold on, buddy. You weren't sure, all right? You were waiting. I saw people going nuts who said, oh, yeah, I called this. Sure you did. But let's get into the show. Raw was from Houston, Texas tonight. They were in the Toyota Center. Show opened up with what I thought was actually a good promo segment with the four guys in the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship that was vacated by Finn Balor from last week. You have Roman Reigns out there. Corey Graves opened it up. He looked comfortable in the ring. He seemed fine. I liked Corey Graves being in there, and he brought more of a serious element to it. He let these guys go a little bit off the cuff, too, I felt like. And just great moments came out of it. Some of them have actually worked with Corey down in NXT, so made it even better and made him feel comfortable that they could play off of him a little bit. Roman didn't say too much here, neither did Seth. They kind of let Owens and Big Cass shine in this moment, which they really needed to be taken serious in the match. What did you think of the opening promo, though, altogether?
I thought the opening promo was a highlight of the show, one of the few. Big Cass, as much as I love him in the ring, I still feel like every time he's on the mic, he's remembering lines that he rehearsed backstage. He's just he doesn't have that comfort on the mic that Enzo does.
Can we segue off that real quick?
Yeah.
I think that exact thing that you said is the reason why talking smack is great. Because I don't feel that they are being rehearsed. I feel like it's Daniel Bryan sitting there and Vince and them aren't around. He's like, oh, I can share my real opinion and no one's around because no one's going to yell at me. Okay, so here's what I think, and this is why the Usos, why are you hated? Why do you think you're hated? And then they're like, oh, well, we've been getting booed since we teamed with Roman. Yeah, you're darn right, Chad, man. Exactly. I think it feels more organic, and when you said that about Big Cass, that's instantly what I thought, and I felt that he thrives off Enzo's energy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Energy makes him better.
Absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off of what you said about Roman not saying much, throughout the episode, they showed these little video packages of the four guys competing in the main event. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure all three of the other guys spoke in their video packages. Like they had some little bit of like, yeah, this is blah blah blah. This is my reason. Yeah. Roman didn't speak at all. They didn't have Roman talking in his video package. I feel like because they knew it would just get booed by the crowd when it came up on the big screen. So that stuck out to me because it was the last one. I think it was the last one to air too. So having seen the other three already, it just made it all the more obvious.
Yeah, I feel that they definitely did that because you can hear the boos in the background when the video's being played sometimes. I think that's exactly why that sounds like a Vince and Kevin Dunn move to no talking for Roman, all action. And last week, people cheered the spear, no matter how much people want to say, like, oh, I don't like Roman. I was like, I definitely heard the people pop when he hit his finish on Jericho. So don't give me any of that garbage that you're trying to spew about, oh, I don't like Roman Reigns. Because I hate when people forget it for a moment, and then it's like, oh, no, I'm supposed to hate this guy because it's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And but just to close out, talk about the opening segment. I had some hope when it ended, since Roman stood tall at the opening segment. I was like, yes, maybe he won't be standing tall at the end of the show.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't that night. He we'll get into that. Let's see, what was the opening matchup here? Sorry, my window closed here on my iPad.
Wasn't there something about was Sami Zayn the first one?
Jericho cuts a promo where he goes to Tom Phillips, and Tom Phillips says, "You know what he's gonna get?" And then he says, "It," and then he's like, "No, you stupid idiot." Jericho was definitely money on the mic, and he said he's gonna get the gift of facing Jericho, drink it in, man. Perfect stuff right there. Chris Jericho winds up defeating Neville, though, via submission. Very similar to their match when they had the Tokyo special. But I loved it. I thought it was really good for the crowd to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I'm both great guys, and working with Jericho does nothing but positives for you. So
yeah, I love the finish, and I love that he won with the Lion Tamer. Good match. Actually, I like this segment as well. Bayley comes backstage talking to the New Day. And this gets quite ridiculous, which is why I love it. I mean, Bayley with the hugs at first, I was like, oh, God, what are they doing? I'm like, don't overdo this, guys. But they wind up running into the New Day. New Day acting crazy as they usually do. I don't know what Kofi Kingston was doing with the Booty-O cereal, too. He's just throwing it everywhere. Not even hitting himself like to eat it. But they're back there having fun, being cartoon characters. And then Dana Brooke walks up and is talking trash, which I don't understand why you would do that if you got beat up last week. So Dana Brooke comes up talking trash with Gallows and Anderson, and she says they'll team up tonight to face two members of New Day, sets up a match. But overall, though, I thought it was a good segment. Some actual funnies in there, so it wasn't too bad.
I'm going to say this. I actually enjoyed that segment because Dana Brooke actually, to me at least, I know like maybe it didn't make sense storyline-wise because she just got whooped last week by Bayley, but she actually shined in this segment, in my opinion. Dana Brooke did. It just gets back to everything I've been saying about Dana Brooke. Charlotte wasn't there, so Dana Brooke wasn't playing the patsy to, the sidekick to Charlotte. Dana Brooke was just allowed to be her natural self here and just kind of be a bully and, the top dog as far as her, personality goes. And that's where she's most comfortable at. Get her away from Charlotte as soon as possible, and she'll get back on the right track.
Yeah, she definitely, I don't know. I still think that team would have worked better with Emma and her, where Dana maybe was the top person. How it was it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But, yeah, that was a great segment. What was the next match? Nia Jax versus a local competitor. I kind of missed part of this because I was talking about other stuff. I think the Hyperloop one and all that. But that match ended very quickly. I didn't see if I recognized who the other woman was who was fallen by the time I saw the ending of the match. But Nia Jax gets another victory. Are you tiresome of these squash matches with her? Is it getting old to you already?
No, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily just the squash matches with her. It's the fact that we have her and Braun on the same show, Monday nights, and they both doing squash matches. So the squash match idea in and of itself is what's getting old. Not necessarily like the Nia Jax or the Braun Strowman in the equation. It's just we're getting, like tonight we had two squash matches in one night. I'm like, I don't need that. I need to see squash match galore.
I don't think two is bad. I think that's okay. I would like to see different people in squash matches, though. It can't just always be Braun Strowman gets a squash match and Nia Jax gets a squash match.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like one of these gonna one's just gonna like break off and pan out into an actual story for these characters for Nia and Braun. Like, how many weeks in a row are they just gonna come out and have a squash match against some local nobody before an actual storyline kicks in and someone comes out and interrupts them and gets in their face, whatever. Like, when's that gonna happen?
That will be up to the Big E to decide, and by Big E I mean WWE, to decide when they're gonna end that. I don't know how to put it. They want to get these guys over, which I completely understand, but I think that it's going to grow tiresome within the next 2 weeks if they don't start moving quickly into getting these guys into a role. And I fear that I hope they don't put Braun Strowman in some of the roles that I'm thinking of. I'll tell you about it off camera, but I see a certain way that they could go with Braun Strowman, and I hope that's not the path they're going down with him. The next match we had on here was we had the Anderson and Gallows promo segment, which has a really weird, I'm gonna say it, like pornographic connotation with it, where Dana Brooke comes in and she's the nurse and they're the doctors. I was like, what is going on here with this? And I was just like, adult males were freaking out in my group about it, like sending me pictures. There were the Brazzer pictures obviously came out, and then people wrote, this is how every porno starts, with her with the gloves on, and I was just like, oh.
Dude, I absolutely agree. That's the vibe I got from it, and even the way she was delivering her lines, in contrast to the backstage segment earlier that I praised her for. Her like everything about this, like her delivery of her lines and everything, it was just straight up porno.
What's your last line? Braun Strowman is what?
My Padawan. He's my Jedi Padawan. He's got his little hair hanging down. Just like my Ewan McGregor in episode 1, bro.
We get to Sami Zayn defeating Jinder Mahal. Yeah, I don't know why they brought back Jinder Mahal. He must have known that he's just gonna be jobbing the guys. Like, yeah, you're just gonna be an upper tier jobber. But Sami Zayn gets the big victory, and I'm happy with it. To be honest, I don't think he needed to hit him with the boot in the core. I would have had Sami Zayn went off like a blue thunder bomb or something against Jinder Mahal. You don't need to beat these guys with some of these moves. Even the T-bone suplex could have ended Jinder Mahal, and I would have been fine with it. I don't know if you agree with those thoughts on it, but
I'm all for. I've said this once. I've said it before multiple times. I'll say it again. I'm all for matches ending without finishers. Like, you don't need, or you know what I mean? Like, just off of special moves. You don't need, like, we don't need anything special. Like, just wrestlers bring out these special moves and they do them, but then they don't end the match. So it's like, what's the point of doing these special moves? It just, to me, from a wrestling logic standpoint, it doesn't make sense to me. Like Rollins bringing back his old finisher from his, from the old days. Like, dudes are kicking out of it. What's the point of doing it? Like, don't tarnish these moves, like.
Yeah, you should just be going for the pedigree, like, all of the match, if that's the only thing you ever win with.
Like, if that's the only thing that's going to put people away, then yeah, what's the point of doing these other moves? Like, people want to sit there and, like, hate on Brock Lesnar, because, like, oh, his matches are boring. All he does is suplex, F5. Like, yeah, that's the most realistic shit I see when he matches, or when he has matches. Like all these other guys that, like you just said, yeah, Seth Rollins, the only time he ever wins is with the pedigree anymore. So why isn't he just, like, trying to kick guys in the groin all in match and then get him in the pedigree? Like, that's all he should be doing. If it was, like, but if you let these other moves win him some matches, then okay, then I'm okay with him doing these other moves because they win him matches on occasion. But when these moves never win him anything, what's the point?
Hence why I said maybe if you put some of those squash matches with other guys, it's like you don't have to even beat him with your finisher. It's like, oh, Sami Zayn put him away with the Blue Thunder Bomb. So that was the end of that. The mixed gender tag match. Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Bayley end up defeating Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Dana Brooke. Charlotte was on commentary. They actually showed something previous before that with Sasha Banks. That was on Raw pre-show. Good for Sasha. I'm glad she's not injured as badly as she thought she was. But still sad to see her out right now. Charlotte, I think, will continue her reign of dominance for now as she feuds with Bayley, or setting up the feud with Bayley. I thought New Day looked so much better with Big E. Like, I feel New Day is back to themselves again. That time off with Big E did them well as, like, I think taking the attention off of them so much was great. So now that they're coming back in, like, okay, they still got something to prove here. But I still feel Anderson and Gallows deserve the belts here. I think they're losing way too much, and they're losing what's making them special.
Yeah.
Do you still agree with that? I mean, do you think they're losing what makes them?
It's starting to wear thin a little bit. I still love New Day. I still love their antics and their goofiness. I know people that were sick of their shtick a long time ago. So for me, like, at this point, it's like they've been champions over a year now. Like, let's let someone else win for a change. Let's shake up the Raw tag division. Because to me, they're kind of making the other tag teams look weaker by just prolonging the New Day's reign. Like, no offense, I feel like Anderson and Gallows should have come in and just dominated the tag division, won those belts almost immediately, and now we have them doing like stupid comedy, half porn segments. Like, to me, they're trying to, like, tarnishing other and lessening other tag teams, to prolong the New Day title reign. And to me, I'm like, when you're doing that, like, that is a sure sign that it's time to switch it up and give the belts to someone else.
I feel like WWE purposely keeps belts on people, though. I don't know if they're trying to have them break Demolition's reign or get close to it, or what they're trying to do. But that could be part of the plan. You know how they did that stuff with Nikki Bella, AJ Lee. They do these kinds of things just to be funny. So I don't know if that's it. And also, though, here's the problem that other people make the argument for that are New Day fans. Shout out to Jordan King, too, who posted a great New Day picture in the Everything Pro Wrestling group. New Day is the most over team. So New Day is probably sitting there thinking, well, why would you take the titles off of us if we're the most over team? Because what's going to happen is you put them on someone else, then the belts get depreciated. And if they're not living up to what we were, then why did you do that? And now you made us look bad. They look bad. Nobody's winning. And I think WWE is trying to build that tag division. It seems like that's something that they're trying to be proud of, at least. Like, okay, let's make sure we take this a little bit more seriously than we were before. But
I see that, but in my opinion, like, in order to build another tag team up, like, you got to let them win, like,
absolutely, you got to take a chance on somebody. But
Anderson and Gallows could be so over if you give them the belts, and like I said, you're kind of tarnishing them by making them do these stupid, like, you're trying to make them stoop down to New Day's level with the stupid jackass antics. And that's not what Anderson and Gallows should be about. They should be about kicking ass and taking names, period. Like, not, being funny, haha, jackasses like the New Day.
Right.
But that's what they're making these guys do with these stupid segments.
Yeah, and I'm sure to me it seems like one of those things Vince finds funny. Vince thinks it's funny, so we're gonna do it. We get to Cesaro cutting the promo on Sheamus. Cesaro promo. Okay. Some people liked it. I thought it was okay. It was all right. And then Sheamus winds up defeating Cesaro in this match. What did he ran him into the post, hurting his lower back, and beats him with the Texas Cloverleaf. Which, prime example of he didn't need to use the bro kick.
Correct. Exactly. Like prime example, it was a great ending to the match. I have no problem with Sheamus winning. In fact, at this point, I'm kind of hoping Sheamus just goes for the clean sweep. Honestly, end this thing as soon as possible. Let these guys move on to something else. I posted in the group my thoughts on Cesaro as a character right now. Again, taking nothing away from his in-ring talent. The dude is phenomenal in the ring. Absolutely. But they're booking him terribly. I hate his entrance. I hate this stupid James Bond gun barrel thing. I hate that. I also hate the stupid tearaway suit that he wears. Like, it doesn't fit properly. It just looks goofy. Like, I don't know. Like, it just looks stupid to me. And I don't know. He's not James Bond. I don't really understand why they're going that route with him. Like, he's not the Miz. Like, he's not like trying to be like a star or something. I don't know. It just doesn't fit him. Like, I don't know. Have him come out in his, track jacket again. Like, I don't know. I miss the look he rocked when he was with Tyson Kidd.
I think that with Cesaro, it's very hard for him to find his place, and they're trying to figure out what to do with him because he doesn't really speak well. And I think they should go the Chris Benoit route. There's nothing wrong with just saying, I am a man's man and I'm a wrestler. I don't put up with any BS. I'm not going to listen to you talk any BS. You come in the ring, say your piece, and then do your talking in the ring like I'm going to do. That's all he has to say. Like, you don't have to get all funny all the time.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't understand WWE's like mindset on that. Like, they think that every face has to be like this smart aleck, jokey. I'm gonna crack a joke at the heel's expense type of dude. Like, no, like faces don't have to be like that. Like, nor do heels. Like we don't need these. Like, WWE is so entrenched in these these archetypes, and it just aggravates me to no end. Like, yeah, like you just said, like Cesaro would be a prime example for a dude like that. Like, no nonsense. Like, I don't tell jokes. I don't sit there. I'm not a jackass. I'm not funny, haha. I'm a man's man. I wrestle well. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna whoop your ass. That's what I'm gonna do.
Sometimes that's all you need in pro wrestling. Two guys, story. I'm better than you. You think you're better than me. Let's go on the ring and settle it. Sometimes that's the best story. We get a tribute to Mr. Fuji. Very sad to see that he passed away. Mr. Fuji, I think, is one of the most underrated managers that don't get talked about enough. He played a great role for someone who, first of all, I think the man was quite funny. And even the stories you hear about him outside the ring, hilarious. But Mr. Fuji throwing the salt, classic moments. My favorite turn that I think he ever did was with Demolition. It's probably not the popular opinion. Everyone remembers him for being with Yokozuna. But when he turned on Demolition, I'll never forget it, and aligned himself with the Powers of Pain, I believe they were called, Barbarian and Warlord. And they had that big blow-off match at WrestleMania. That is exactly what Mr. Fuji was remembered for. And he put Demolition over. I remember Demolition said they requested to have him as their manager to be taken more seriously because they felt Johnny Valiant wasn't the guy who they needed in there for the role. So rest in peace to Mr. Fuji for that.
Mr. Fuji was the man. I agree with you that was an amazing moment. Obviously, I love this run with Yokozuna. Yokozuna, one of my all-time favorites from the 90s. Like, I love that dude. One of my favorite characters. So, awesome.
Yeah. Then we get Braun Strowman defeating, was it Americo? I missed the entrance in the beginning of it.
Doesn't matter?
No, but supposedly it was a luchador who they definitely made fun of Max Moon for, but that was your character that you guys thought of. And Braun Strowman, I guess, does the disrespectful thing of ripping his mask off, which is a big no-no in Lucha Underground, which season is starting very soon. But rips the mask off, and everyone's like acting shocked. And to be honest, the fans were like, "Who cares? This guy's a jobber. Get him out the ring. Next match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Braun Strowman gets another win. Same thing as we said with Nia Jax. Hopefully this doesn't grow too tiresome. We had that segment then with Stephanie McMahon and Paul Heyman. I don't want to really go through it because the fans chanted ECW CM Punk throughout it. And the CM Punk chants, like you said in the group chat, do make sense now for his fights coming up. And anytime something boring happens, I'm a CM Punk fan. And I will say I would chant CM Punk anytime something boring comes up so that you know that that's who we want brought back. That's how you get your voice heard.
I agree. I know there's people that sit there and say it's played out, whatever. I mean, CM Punk is like still a prime example in everyone's mind. In the last few years of WWE screwing the pooch big time, and I mean, to me, it's a good chance to let WWE know that they're screwing up. This is not what you want to be watching. Boring. You know,
I'm surprised that Cody Rhodes chants haven't started either because he's another one that they screwed up with big time. They had something really good there, and they definitely blew it. But this segment came off very odd. Like I didn't know what I was supposed to take away from this. I thought Stephanie was supposedly. At one point, I thought maybe Heyman was going to announce Brock's going to SmackDown, which makes more sense since you're feuding with everybody on SmackDown. It seems like you're on the wrong show, brother. But they didn't go that route. Then throwing the ones at Stephanie, I don't know if that was some stripper. Maybe my mind was in the gutter throughout this show as well. I felt like, what is this? Is he trying to tell her to strip her clothes? Like, why is he throwing ones at her? Maybe it was to be facetious or whatever, and I was just thinking the wrong way. And then you had, I don't know, Heyman apologizes and says she's the heir to the throne. I didn't really get it. I don't know, maybe you have a different perspective.
Yeah, no, it came off as awkward to me. I didn't think stripper with the ones. I thought it was just a dick move. Like, I'm gonna give you $501 bills right now. So suck on this. 1, 2, 3. Like, if you want to be like
the visual of him throwing them at her is what I like. I don't know. Yeah. What are you trying to show us here?
I get that, but like to me, it just they didn't do a good job of telling me as a fan how I'm supposed to be taking this storyline. Like at first, when I heard Stephanie only fined Brock $500, I felt like it was kind of like a haha, screw you, Shane. I'm kind of on Brock and Paul's side. But then, like the way Stephanie and Paul Heyman were interacting with each other, like it did not seem like they were on each other's side. Like they don't like each other. So I'm sitting there like, okay, and Paul Heyman's being a dick with the $501 bills. I'm like, okay. And then like almost on a dime, like he just turns and like all of a sudden, like you said, like he's like bowing his head down and like telling her she's the heir apparent to WWE. And like I just like it was so weird to me, which is really odd because I think maybe it was made even more weird because it was Paul Heyman, who's usually money on the microphone, and so this was a big swing and a miss.
Yeah.
It just came off weird, but Babe Ruth can't even hit home runs every time, so.
Maybe setting up for something long-term because of Heyman's laugh at the end. I mean, my girlfriend noticed that where it was, okay, he's laughing, so maybe that's leading to something else. Maybe we just don't see it yet, so I'm hoping that's what it is. We get to Darren Young defeating Titus O'Neil.
Move on.
No, wait. I'm going to say don't ever put a microphone in Titus O'Neil's hand again, or you will get CM Punk chants from me specifically. Don't ever do it. Darren Young gets to win. Titus beats up Bob Backlund again. I guess I'm supposed to feel sorry. Can you just put the primetime players back together and let Bob Backlund manage them? Let's just end this. I think that's the best move for everybody.
No, I think the best move is just to like tell Bob Backlund, see you later. I hate Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund sucks. He sucked back when I was a kid. He sucks now. I don't care about Bob Backlund. Like, why am I supposed to like? Ever since this whole "Let's make Darren Young great again" thing started, I was like, who the hell cares about Bob Backlund? Like, why is this suddenly supposed to draw me into Darren Young? And then he's just in these stupid little like lower mid card matches. Like, yeah, it's really making him great again. This whole storyline just sucks. And I could go on for another 10 minutes dropping expletives about how much Bob Backlund sucks and how much creative sucks about this stupid damn storyline. It's just terrible. Titus O'Neil sucks on the microphone. He sucks in the ring. Darren Young's decent in the ring, but he's nothing to write home about on the microphone. And Bob Backlund just is someone I just don't give a shit about. So why am I supposed to give a shit about a storyline involving these three assholes that suck at life? Get out of my TV screen. Get off my screen. All three of you, go away. Oh, future endeavor, their asses.
Moving on. We get to the main event. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, Big Cass. I guess it was announced earlier in the show or on Snapchat. I don't know why they do these announcements on social media because it confuses the hell out of someone like me when I just woke up out of my sleep from a hard day of work and I'm like, oh, this is an elimination match now. Okay, I must have missed that. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I rested for a couple hours. And the match overall, I think, came out with big energy. I like that they had Enzo come out with Cass to get him over and bring some significant energy to the matchup. They did a lot of good things here. Started off good. Like, no one got eliminated very quickly, so everyone looked great. Big Cass on that big boot to Roman Reigns, I believe it was, who was on the outside. I can't remember if he booted him over to the ropes and he fell out too.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he broke his leg possibly, but it was just the camera angle and how it looked. But I was just like, oh man, that looked really bad for him. But I feel that should be his finish instead of the Empire Elbow and all that.
There's certain guys that classic finishers just work well for him. The big boot is a classic, and yeah, Big Cass delivers it, like very well. Like I mean, it's kind of like when JBL delivered the clothesline from hell, like such a basic move, but JBL mastered it and like delivered it with such force. And I agree. I feel like Big Cass delivers that big boot with a ton of force, and then I watch him do the Empire Elbow, and I'm like,
It's kind of Dolph Ziggler in the zigzag. Like I always felt for years that I'm like that should be his setup move more than his finisher. I mean, I get it why he couldn't do the super kick before. Shawn Michaels has it, and I'm okay with guys having finishers as long as you're not having like 6 guys do the same move. But Dolph Ziggler is much better off finishing people with the super kick. I feel. I think a while back too about him.
I agree, but Big Cass. It even makes sense. Big Cass, big boot. Come on.
Absolutely, and if you want the Empire Elbow, you could have him do it from the top. He reminds me of Test so much, and Test was one of my favorites in the Attitude Era before Triple H squashed him. I think he could definitely, if he can come off that top rope like Test, he's got a lot of potential to do other things. But
you could even, if you want to New York it up for Big Cass, you call it the Big Apple boot. I don't know, like.
Yeah, we'll see how that works. Yeah, then
it's a little long.
They'll probably try and put an apple on the bottom of the boot. I don't know if we should go that far. Well,
yeah, Vince is going to be like, we're putting apple stickers on the bottom of your boot. Awesome. It'll be great.
The people will love you, kid. So Cass winds up getting eliminated from – he got hit with like 3 finishers back-to-back, like signature. So he gets hit with, what was it, the Superman punch when he was on his roll. Rollins does the is it called the abracadabra? The kick to the face, and then Kevin Owens gives him a bullfrog splash or whatever they're calling it.
No, what I call that move from Seth Rollins is the super kick to a guy on his knees. That's exactly what it is, and it plays into what I was saying. I think I brought it up last week. The super kick is so overused now. Just let Dolph Ziggler have it. Let him be the only one that does that right now. Just everyone does that stupid super kick to someone on the knees. It's done. It's still a super kick, whether he's on his knees or standing. It's the same damn move, same effect.
Right. So Kevin Owens winds up getting the pinfall on him. So Big Cass is the first one eliminated. We get into triple threat mode throughout this match. This is where I kind of start losing like the interest a little bit. I'm like, let me go get some water. I'll be right back. Oh, match is back on. Here we go. And there were some good kickouts there where I was like, oh, I thought he was done there. Owens kicked out everyone.
You were going out of the room getting water. Like you missed some good. That's really when the crowd started really getting into it. I feel like is when it got down to the triple threat.
Yeah, here's my problem with 3 Hour Raws. Like I just can't.
Oh yeah.
like my mind's doing other things for half of it.
Absolutely. And should I say something else about when it was the triple threat situation? Kevin Owens is supposed to be like this awesome heel that's trying to, you feel he acts like he's smarter than everyone, kind of, without saying it. But that's kind of how he acts. He's just in an elimination style match. Why not treat it like almost Money in the Bank style situation? Just wait in the wings, dude. Go have a seat. Go have a seat in the, next to the timekeeper. And
I
like,
will say he started the match like that though, so I don't think he could do that again.
I felt like every time, and I'm glad, and this feeling is what led to the excitement at the end when it turned out the way it did. I felt like every time Kevin Owens would roll back into that ring and get involved with Rollins and Reigns, I was like, oh god, he's about to get eliminated. Here it comes. He's about to get speared.
Yeah, he was eating some big moves where they had me worried for a second. I'm like, oh no. And then they did the classic with him and Roman, which I loved this spot when they first did it. He throws Roman over like he's gonna give him the pop-up power bomb. They let him throw him up, and you're like, yes, yes, yes. And then he hits the Superman punch on him. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yep.
Every time. But they're on the outside, and then I don't know where Triple H shows up from, why Triple H showed up. Did he jump out of the crowd?
I think so. He must have. He
just came from off camera because I was like, where did he come from? And then pedigree to Roman Reigns, and he yells at Seth to get in the ring and pin him. Seth Rollins goes in, classic Earl Hebner count, the slow 1, 2, 3, Roman's done. The fans are shocked, but now everyone's wondering, well, Triple H is here to help his boy Rollins, which is what signified, I think, that hug with Stephanie before the match. They're both in the ring, and Triple H goes over to Kevin Owens, looking like he's setting him up. He starts picking him up, and then Rollins starts coming over because Triple H calls him over. And then the classic, because in your heart, you're like, this could go one of two ways. This could go one of two ways. And as soon as he turned around, you were like, yes, kick to the stomach, pedigree on Seth Rollins. I was shocked. I woke up probably everyone in the house, if they were watching baseball or my girlfriend was half asleep. She definitely woke up like, whoa, what's going on? And she was like, oh, this guy's getting excited about his wrestling. And I couldn't believe it. Kevin Owens gets the pin and wins the Universal Championship. Casey, what did you think of that ending? Was that perfectly booked or what?
I do. I think it was. Like I said, I kept expecting, when it was the final three, I kept expecting Kevin Owens to, eat a spear and get pinned, and we'd be down to Rollins and Reigns, and all my hopes and dreams would be pinned on Rollins once again. But what a surprising finish. Like, that's what wrestling needs more of in this day and age. Obviously, you can't do it all the time, otherwise that's not surprising. But still, like, they really needed that. Raw did. And like I said at the top of the show, I was going into that main event thinking nothing special is going to happen. They're going to give me a couple spots where I might get my hopes up. But, I really, I was dreading it. I was like, Reigns might very well walk out with that belt. He's served his punishment. He's eaten some finishes at the last, couple pay-per-views. Like, I feel like he's trying to serve his time, and I'm like, now with Finn Balor going down, they're gonna give the belt back to their boy. And I was just so afraid. And this completely surprised me. Kevin Owens deserves it so much. And he fits in. Like, I can totally picture him backstage with, Stephanie and Triple H, like, being all buddy and being a schmuck. And it opens up countless storyline possibilities, like with Roman Reigns, with Seth Rollins. Like, I mean,
that's something Kevin brought up to me in the group, because he brought up some points of Triple H did come back as a heel. I feel Triple H is a heel through and through, no matter what, throughout this. And I think this is Rollins' face turn. Now, this is just us speculating, but he said that you could think about it as, well, what if he's not? What if Triple H turned face? in that process and just said, I'm just going to help someone else win the belt besides you because I'm mad at you. I don't see that logic going through, but I thought it was interesting that he brought that point.
I don't think that because of if that was the case, they wouldn't have made such a big deal right at the end of Mick Foley being so damn pissed off. Like, you could tell, like, the camera was right on Foley's face. Like, the announcer said it. Like, Foley was pissed, like, that this just happened. And that's how his main event ended.
Stephanie looks shocked. Do you think she's involved in this then? I mean, it's your husband. You don't know that he was going to do that? I mean, I guess you could play it off that way too.
You could, but I don't know. Like I said, they got to figure out what they're doing with Stephanie. She's, like, going back to the Paul Heyman segment. She's in some murky waters right now. Is she still a heel? Is she a face? Like, I feel like she's sort of in that. You remember when the Authority first took power years ago? Like, when Stephanie and Triple H first took power, and, like, they were heels in certain situations. Like, Triple H was a heel in certain situations, but a face in other situations. Like he was a face in how he treated Curtis Axel at the time, like, getting pops from the crowd. But then he, like, in other situations, he was a heel. Like, it made no sense. It was murky. I don't like that bullshit. I don't like murkiness with my character. Like, give me a well-defined character. Let me know how I'm supposed to feel about him. Like, and then I feel like they need to figure that out with Steph real quick. Is she a heel? Is she with Hunter? Or is she going to be a face and be on Mick Foley's side?
And I can see her even disappearing and letting Triple H take her spot as the commissioner for now. Like, me and Hunter are sharing this role. Hunter's going to take my place as I go back to the board of directors, and maybe you make Hunter and Foley work together. And there's some history already there as well that you could kind of play off of in their promos and such. Very interesting, though. I'm happy to see Kevin Owens as champion. He definitely deserves it. I don't know if he goes on to face Sami Zayn. If you go triple threat route, is Rollins definitely turning face right away? Is this going to be a slow burn to turning face? Is he going to be shocked at what happened?
I think it's going to be kind of. I hope it's more immediate, his face turn. I hope he comes out next week on Raw. Triple H has to be there, I think. Let them just go at it on the microphone. And it'll be his face turn.
So. Right. But if that happens too, then what happens to Roman? You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. So Roman just ate a pedigree.
Future Endeavor.
What?
Future Endeavor.
We can't do that with Roman.
I'm just kidding. I do not hate Roman Reigns.
I just don't know where you go with him. Do you go back to the Rusev stuff? Do you go facing Kevin Owens maybe one-on-one? Do you go? There's so many routes that you could go, and I guess the questions are best left unanswered at this point for now, because we could speculate probably more next week once we have some things concrete.
I'm going to predict that, though. I'm going to predict that since you just brought it up. What's their first solo pay-per-view? Raw?
Clash of Champions.
It's going to be Kevin Owens defending against Roman Reigns. Because Roman's going to come out and play the whole card. Like, Seth is going to be too preoccupied with Triple H, I feel like. And so you're going to have this whole, I'm like, Roman doesn't really have anything to do. I was screwed. Like, shut up, Roman. Well, okay, here's your, and you got to let Kevin Owens pin him clean at that point.
I think you go possibly giving the match to Sami Zayn. Due to the injuries and everything else, you want Kevin Owens to have a strong first title match. There's no better opponent, I feel, than Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn gets a couple wins and then strings them together, and you throw the stipulation on maybe, hey, Sami, if I beat you, you can never get another title shot. And Sami's like, well, you know what? Remember what happened last time? They go at it one last time, give Owens the big win. Now Sami can't get near him, can't touch him. Throws that in his face. I don't know if they go that route, though. I definitely see them doing the Roman Reigns.
Wasn't their last match supposed to be the end of the feud?
Correct, which doesn't make sense why they ended up on the same brand.
But at that same time, yeah, I mean, usually WWE waits at least a year before they give you another once-in-a-lifetime match, like John Cena and The Rock. I mean, at least wait a year before once-in-a-lifetime becomes twice-in-a-lifetime.
LOL, Cena wins. So Fans, thank you for joining us. This was episode 44 of Everything Pro Wrestling. Leave a like, comment down below, join the Facebook group. Follow us on Twitter at EPW Podcast. This is for myself, Casey Briggs. We are out. Peace.